Hello, and welcome to the Law School Playbook. Today's topic is using law school practice exams. It may be that in your education previously, you've never used practice exams, but they are critically important to your studying in law school. And today we'll talk about why they're important and how to use them. Practice exams help you to refine your rule statements, understand your outline, and to be sure that your outline is actually a useful tool to you. So just having an outline doesn't ensure a good grade. Whether you make it or use a legacy outline, you have to be sure that that tool is working for you. Practice exams help you to do that. They help you to work on your legal analysis, which is using law and facts together to reach a legal conclusion. They help you build stamina for exam writing. Law school exams are often lengthy, several hours, and so practice exams are a way to build up your stamina and concentration for exam day. And then finally, they help you to figure out your professor's preferences. So don't overemphasize this point. There isn't a law professor in the nation who doesn't want effective legal analysis. But there are small differences between the way a professor assesses students. So using a professor's prior exam or practice exams will allow you to see how that professor tests students. If you're lucky, you'll have some courses that require you to do practice essays. Use this as motivation to update your outline. Treat it as a real deadline. Pay attention to how much time the practice exam takes you. Don't look at the sample answers or rubrics until you've completed your answer. So these tips are just really making the most of those required essays. Seek feedback. Use it as an opportunity to ask questions about your exam performance to your professor, either through an appointment or office hours, and be sure to bring your outline. Because often if you have an answer that's less than stellar, you'll find that the weakness is in your outline, that portion of your outline is not really helping you. So go ahead and bring that with you to the meeting with your professor. And then after you review it and seek feedback, try again, and again under time conditions. You can use practice exams, particularly those that are required of you, many times prior to exam day. They do not have diminishing returns, so please, by all means, try again. And then you want to revisit that same material during the exam preparation. So again, just make the most use out of those that are required of you. And then whether you do required essays for a course or not, you always want to complete independent essays on your own. So start early. Don't wait until too late in the semester to begin. That's often something I hear from struggling students, is that I was busy completing my outline, and so I hadn't done any practice questions. It's a fatal mistake. Find a way to incorporate them. Even if you don't, get a slam dunk or knock it out of the ballpark, you want to start early. But the week before the exam, you really want to focus on practicing. You don't want to be finishing up your outline then. So make a schedule and stick to it. You can work with these with a study group or a friend. You can do so by discussing your plan or your exam outline, which is something you'll do before you write. You can exchange full answers if you decide to write full answers to the exam. And then you can provide feedback to one another based upon your own outlines, your own answers, and together you can seek feedback from your professor. So if you're a student who maybe feels uncomfortable going to office hours, use your study partners to go with you to seek that feedback from your professor. But that feedback is critically important because that's the person who's going to be grading your exam. And, as with required essays, these are fair game to try again. So where do you find these? Most professors will make them available to you. They'll tell you where to find them or, advise you, okay, I don't have any practice exams, but here's a reliable place where you can go find them. You can convert bar-style multiple choice questions into short essays on your own. They do have a fact pattern associated with them that lend themselves to practice essays. You can convert the hypotheticals you used in class into practice essays. Hypotheticals are very important to get down because they're examples of how a given rule works. So those also can lend themselves to being practice exams. Your text often has an online component that may have practice in it. I wouldn't necessarily pay for this, but if you have it free associated with your text, it's certainly something to explore. Another avenue would be using study aids. So I have a video on study aids helping you navigate those, but many are designed for practice. So those are things often made available to you either in hard copy or electronic version free from your law school. So I would definitely look into that as an avenue as well. So what are the strategies you should use when doing practice exams? So we talked about timing, seeking feedback, rewriting, and timing again. I encourage you to use your regular exam strategies. So to the extent possible, mirror what you will do on exam day. So read the exam instructions, have your midterm number or your final exam number at the ready for anonymous grading purposes. Read the call of the question first so you could do a more targeted read of the facts. Get in the habit of marking the fact pattern. So if you have a hard copy, you're highlighting, you're underlining, you're making notes in the margins. There is not a right way to do this. The right way is the way that works for you. Similarly, you want to practice using your scratch paper and creating your answer outline. Plan your answer before you write. And I have a good bit about this in some of my other law school playbook materials. In my mind, it's one of the most important steps you can take, so you don't want to skip this when doing practice exams. Time yourself using a standard stopwatch, or even better, use your exam software to do this. So Exemplify, for example, has a clock in it. Play around with the exam software before you are taking your final exam. Students are often disappointed, gravely disappointed during their exam to realize that oftentimes you're limited from copying and pasting, or you're prohibited from doing so. So a student will pick up a section and decide they want to move it of their answer, and they'll copy it and go to move it and realize when they go to paste it that they don't have that function, and then that exam content answer is gone. So exam answer content, I should say, is gone. So you want to be sure to figure out if you can copy and paste to see whether spell check or grammar check will be enabled. Usually they are disabled in your exam software. And there is typically a word count or a character count, which may pose a problem for you. So you want to practice keeping yourself within that word count or character count. So ask about your exam format. Ask things like, can I use abbreviations? If you use abbreviations and that's acceptable to your professor, it certainly will help you work with a character limit if there is one on your exam. And then finally, if you handwrite your exam, handwrite your practice exams. If you type exams, do your practice exams the same way. Keep in mind, though, when you're doing practice exams, that the bulk of your points comes from the legal analysis. And every essay you write will help you build those skills. It truly is a skill, using the law and facts together. So practice exams help you to build that skill. And in the same vein, they also boost your confidence and reduce stress. Law school is very much a mental game, so this is very important that you're comfortable taking exams prior to exam day. I know you can do it. As always, just do your best, and I'll be rooting for you. Thanks.